옴 나모 바가바테 바수데바야. 옴 나모 바가바테 바수데바야.
옴 나모 바가바테 바수데바야.
나무 좋겠습니다.
옴 나모 바가바테 바수데바야.
나모 바가바테 바수데바야.
samsara sagare magnam dinamam karunanide karma graya grihitangam mam uttara bhava Srimad Bhagavata Kyoyam Prataksha Krishna Evahi Svikrito Si Mayanata Nityartham Bhavasagare Bhave Bhave Yata Manorate Madiyoyam Sarvada Sapala Sarvadatvaya Nirgune Neva Kaltoyam Tasoham Tavake Shava Bhave Bhave Yatha Bhakti Padayostava Jayate Tata Kurushva Devesha Natastavam no Yatha Prabhu Nama Sanktanam Yasha Salva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukashamanas Tam Namami Harim Jamma Dasha Yaton Vayat Hidaratas Chalte Shiva Vidyasvarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye Muhyanti Yat Suraya Tejo Vari Muridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisalgo Murisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirastakuakam Satyam Param Dimahi Dharma Projita Kaitavotra Paramo Nilma Saranam Satam Pedyam Pastavam Attaravastu Shivatam Tapatrayon Mullanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kimba Pare Ishvaraha Satyo Hritya Paruta Tetra Kritivi Shushurshubis Darshana Nigama Kalpataro Kalitam Palam Sukamukat Amrita Dravasamitam Pivata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Uhuraho Rashika Bhubi Bhavuka Tachidananda Rupaya Vishibhopatya Dihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Sri Krishnaya Vayam Yam Prabhrajantam Petam Apeta Krityam Dvipayano Viraha Gatara Ajuhava Putreti Tammayataya Tarabo Vinedus Tam Salvabhuta Hridayam Munim Anatosmi Yasvanubhavam Akila Shruti Saramekam Adhyatmadipam Atitir Satam Tamondam Samsarinam Karunayaha Puranaguhyam Tam Vyasasunum Upayami Gurum Muninam Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Kamaniya Kishora Mukta Multe Kalavenu Kvanita Drita Nanendoho Mamavachi Vijrumbitam Murare Madurimna Kanikapi Kapi Kapi Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nilvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Pande Nanda Brajatrinam Padarenum Avishnasha Yasam Harigato Gitam Punati Bhuvanatrayam Sri Gopi Charana Ravinda Paramanave Namaha Pitambaram Karavirajita Chakra Shankam Komodaki Sarashijam Karuna Samudram Tada sahayamiti sundaramandahasam batala yesha manisham hridi pavayami. Komalam kojayandenum shamaloyam kumaraka vedda vetya param brahma bhasatam prato mama. Bukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate grim. Yakripa tamaham bande paramananda madhavam. Salvatara Govinda nama sankirtanam Govinda Govinda. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Patanjali Muni Prabhu, could you kindly promote my second account for sharing?
What is the name? I cannot locate your...
Well, also named Prana, so should be easy.
Just 1 second. Pranas. Okay, I found it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Make a co-host. Yeah, I found it. Yeah, I did.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you everyone for kindly joining, for finding time in your busy daily schedule and pleasing us into daily, well, in this case, every weekly nectar, but due to Patanjali Muni grace, most of you can experience it daily as well. So nice. So we could start. Should we start with summary or?
Yes.
Jolly Mataji,
Hare
your
Krishna.
show. Yes, please.
I'm going to be reciting a little bit on my understanding of Canto 1, Chapter 1, Verse 9 from last week's class. And I hope it connects with people's understanding and it's of use for you to take home. So hopefully, please forgive me if I go out of the way, please. Okay, the subject was based on the Srimad Bhagavatam and its purpose and how we should be understanding it when we read the Srimad Bhagavatam. And the first thing that came to mind, it was where there's a cause, there's effect. So it will show you how our performance and how we're thinking and how we see things differently than how it should be seen. So there's 6 questions posed and they are as follows. It's just to give us an understanding about who the most important person is and how it works in reality. So the first question is, what's the highest ultimate good for the people? And who do you think that is? And how does that come about? So I'm sure you all know that. So, and if you want to unmute and tell us what it is. And it's one answer. And as Prabhu said, all the questions have got the same answer. So you read, whatever you read in the question, you will see the answer in it. So the next question is, what's the essence, which is the sukram of all scriptures? And the third is, what's the purpose of Krishna's appearance in Devaki's womb? And the fourth is, out of billions of avatars, why Krishna took the form of Leela avatar, and the most sweetest of all. And the fifth is, where can we take shelter after Krishna's left this planet? And the sixth one is, why Dharma in Kali Yuga? So maybe you can shout out the answer at the end, if that's all right. Right, looking at cause and effect, what we experience there is in cause and effect, but what we experience in it, the naked eye does not see it and is unable to recognize and see it very clearly. As in human form, we are unable to adopt the lens that is necessary sorry, there's something went wrong. Won't be a minute. Right, we are unable to recognize and see, as in human form, we are unable to adopt the lens, fine eye to recognize and appreciate the real deep-seated cause of true creations. For instance, we see the moon in the sky against the water, and we do not consider the deepest understanding of its origin and its root structure or construction, and the many different shapes and forms in the movement of the water. So which is a river and is flowing. So at this point, looking at it a different angle, we see that the wind is causing it. But however, if you're a scuba diver, you might be experiencing something much more divine, which is a beautiful scaffolding layer of the emerging water from a deep-seated, calm, peaceful layer at the bottom of the sea, which is elevating to other layers before emerging into the different movement before you have this eventual waves. So there's a real good reason for it, and a real deep-seated, meaningful reason. And okay, we look at contacts with Krishna and his books, his name, even if it is not in the proper correct mood, would eventually bring one and liberation to you. For example, we looked at Uddhava's story when when Uddhava talked about, he talked about the story of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, offering explanation on why evil demon Putana gained liberation, despite her intention of killing Krishna by poisoning her breast and posing as a mother figure, which is a wet nurse in my young days. I don't know if anybody remember that. Cajoled and flattered her, Krishna to suckle on her milk. Krishna reciprocated through simply picking out the good deed of offering her intimate motherhood, and gave her liberation as his birth mother. She posed as his birth mother, Yashoda. So he treated her the same as he offered his own mother, which is true liberation. And so he set her free. The meaning to take forward in my eyes is that, as Srila Prabhupada said, we must see good in everything and everyone. We must not follow the crowd and join in meaningless activities. Follow activities that's pure in nature, value, and if you want to be close to Krishna, you have to do this pure service to him, and not criticize or judge people. And other parts of the contact to get closer to Krishna is simple contact with Krishna through his sacred books. Even if you do not buy the books, if you touch them, if you just hold Krishna's belonging like a tulsi set of beads, one day you would truly be drawn to Krishna. Chanting his holy name, the Maha Mantra, has true higher taste and will get you to a higher place if you really truly fix your mind on it. I mean, okay, we are in this material world, our mind wanders all over the place. So we are to try and control it and bring it back to what we want best out of that of the chanting. And also I found a way, as I mentioned before in this group, that I found if I befriend my mind, I would get to places a lot easier than the struggles I used to go through. There's also a story about Ajamil. I'm sure you recall it from last week, calling out his God's name through his son Narayan. He gained liberation despite his real sinful act at 88 years old. He was free from all sinful activities, and he gained liberation because his son's name is the same as Krishna. So this is how pure it can be. And then in our daily common involuntary movement, for instance, if we sneeze and we call out Krishna, that will really get us a lot much higher place and feel a lot better about how we can move on in a purer, more controlled and valuable life. Further reading of details information on this true meaning of these verses in Canto 1 is qualified in the following verses, which you can check out on the recording from last week. I'm sorry, I don't think I've got enough time. So here endeth my 5 minutes plus meeting. Thank you very much for your kind listening, and I hope you can make some comments at the end that can be of use to me to take forward in my life. And some of these things I am using in my life, which I've already spelled out in the group. I'm sure you all remembered. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Shirley Mataji. Really, you really put a lot of work in it, so it's appreciated. Thank you.
You think that was a good word? I just rustled it up before the meeting. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Patanjali Muni.
Okay. Thank you for your presentation. It was very nice. And also, maybe I should finish a bit early so that we will hear some more of what you have prepared at the end of the class. Okay, let's do that. So today we'll start second chapter of first canto. So it starts with introduction from first chapter. So I read Sanskrit, and then one of you can read the translation. So Vyasa uvacha iti samprashna samhrishto vipranaham romaharshanai pratipuja bhachastesham pravaktum pachakrame.
Olgesh Prabhu, could you kindly read the translation?
Ugrasrava Sudha Goswami, the son of Roma Harsana, being fully satisfied by the perfect questions of the Brahmanas, thanked them and thus attempted to reply.
So here, the son of Roma Harsana. So Sudha Goswami is son of Roma Harsana. Roma Harshana also Bhagavatam speaker. So there was one instant that the Roma Harshana was speaking Bhagavatam. And then while he was speaking, actually Balaram walked in. So unfortunately, he didn't stood up from the asan and he didn't greet Balaram. So Balaram actually, there was a divine reason, but we don't go into that detail. But Balaram cursed that you should know how to respect. So he ignored the respecting Balaram. So he cursed him, and then he died immediately. But the audience who were listening to Srimad Bhagavatam was a bit upset that they were absorbed in Bhagavatam, and then all of a sudden they lost the speaker. Then Balaram says that, okay, son of Roma Harshan will speak Bhagavatam, continue. So in that way, the Sutta Goswami was appointed as Bhagavatam speaker. So due to that mercy, so Sutta Goswami actually is speaking Bhagavatam in front of Jonaka Rishi. So first chapter was questioned by Jonaka Rishi amongst all other sages in the forest of Naimisharanya. So this is introduction. And when Sutta Goswami received question from Jonaka Rishi, actually he was very happy to receive this question and thank them first. And then he attempted to reply. So in this way, what is the most pleasing to the speaker is actually good question. That's why real dhanam, real dakshina to sadhu is not physical form of money. Real form of dakshin, true form of dakshin is not about something that compels that sadhu. Good meal, or nowadays in the form of Lakshmi, nowadays in the form of some temple, or we're trying to offer so many things to the sadhu. But here, Krishna says in the 11th canto, if you want to truly offer something to sadhu, best thing to offer is good question. So in your life, through the practice of spiritual life, no doubt there is certain question arises. So not whimsical question, So deep down, you're trying to find out the answer, but somehow keep coming back, so that your question is not satisfied with a certain answer. So if you offer that types of burning question within your own heart, if you offer, then there is a Baxter Dakshina. Why? Through the question, the questioner itself, questioner herself or himself will get benefit. And also the person who respond, actually there is another impetus to remember Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna says, so that he can answer nicely. So it gives him another opportunity to remember Krishna's instruction. And then if anyone hears that question answer, they also get benefit. So in this way, good question leading to good answer. So there is a book called The Perfect Question, Perfect Answer. So in that way, always remember that true dakshina is actually good question. So in this way, here, Ugra Shrava, Sutta Goswami thanked for the good question, and then he started to reply. And when he replied, actually, he invoked the mercy of his spiritual master, Sukadeva Goswami. Why? Because he heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami. So he respected Sukadeva Goswami first before he speaks Srimad Bhagavatam. So next verse, it goes, Sutta Uvata Yam Prabhrajantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Dvipayano Viraha Tara Juhava Putreti Tammayataya Taravo Vinedus Tam Salvabhuta Hridayam Munim Anatosmi. Okay, translation please.
Rasalila Shrimati, could you kindly read it? Rasalila Shrimati, could you kindly unmute yourself and read the translation? All right. Venu Madhuri Mataji, could you kindly do it?
Hare Krishna.
Oh, yeah. Rasalila, welcome back. So please read it.
Hare Krishna. Shri Sutta Goswami said, "Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto that great sage, Sukadeva Goswami, who can enter the hearts of all." Then he went away to take up the renounced order of life, sannyasa, leaving home without undergoing reformation, but the sacred thread or the ceremonies observed by the higher castes. His father, Vyasadeva, fearing separation from him, cried out, "O my son, indeed, only the trees which were absorbed in the same feelings of separation echoed in response to the bereaved father." Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
So this verse, now I think you are familiar.
Yes.
Because every time before we discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, we offer these prayers. So this is one of the most auspicious verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why before we recite Srimad Bhagavatam, always we invoke this verse. Why? This invoke the mercy of the Guru. So let us try understand this verse. It says here, Yam Prabhrajantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam. So Prabhrajantam, and as soon as Sukadeva Goswami took a birth, he left home immediately. So I'm sure you heard the story that Vyasadeva conceived Sukadeva Goswami in his wife's womb. The Sukadeva Goswami, he was already realized soul. So he wouldn't come out of a womb. So that as soon as he comes out of womb, he knows that he gets contact with the material nature. Material nature means three modes of nature. So our Atma, as soon as come into contact with three modes of nature, it becomes Jiva. So become Jiva Atma. So our life as a human being starts. So when water is in the air, it's pure. But as soon as it touches the ground, then it mixes with the mud. Then it becomes muddy water. As soon as it falls into ocean, then it becomes salty water. Sometimes it falls into, for example, certain ditches, then it becomes sewage water. It was pure in the air, but as soon as it comes into contact with three modes of nature, it can mix with the three modes of nature. And yet, water itself doesn't lose the quality of water, but it gets mixed, which means it gets contaminated. So in this way, in the womb, he said, I will not come out because I don't want to get mixed with this material nature. So in this way, he was staying in the mother's womb for 16 years. But finally, there was arrangement that Krishna says that you can come out. So I can guarantee you, you will not be able to, or you won't be contaminated with material nature. So I can guarantee. So he gave this a blessing. So sometimes in the kitchen, when we deal with something, we wear gloves. So when we wear gloves, we are touching, but at the same time, we are not touching because only gloves are touching. But we do so many things. Yes. So in this way, only gloves get dirty. Actually, inside the hand is not getting dirty. So in this way, Krishna gave a special protection. So when he came out of his from mother's womb, he walked away from home. So, so he doesn't want to stay in the ashram of Vyasadeva. So when he walked away, anupetam, he didn't do even upayanam ceremony. So in India, when boys turn into 5 or 6, they do upayana ceremony. So in Brahman family, they do huge ceremony and then they put Brahman thread. So he didn't do anupetam, he didn't do upayana ceremony. And also apeta krityam, not only upayana ceremony, there are so many rituals. For example, hair cutting ceremony, grain ceremony. There are so many ceremonies for the child goes through the adulthood. So he didn't do any this ceremony. Apeta krityam. Because of this, Dvipayana viraha katara ajuhava. Dvipayana, Vyasadeva, viraha katara. He grief stricken by this separation. So, as a parent, who doesn't want to lose their beloved child? So the child, such a beautiful child, as soon as he takes birth, without giving him opportunity to show affection, he starts to leaving the home. That's why Ajuhava, he called how Putra iti. So he put it together, Putreti. So that's why when I recite a bit longer, Putreti, because it is Puluta. So when someone close, we say, for example, Puranas Babu is here. So I'll say Purana Babu, Puranas. We can say like this. So this is called only one matra. So when we pronounce the vowel, there's one matra, two matra, and three matra. So the Puranas a bit away, then Puranas Babu, so we a bit longer. But for example, and Puranas Babu was far away. Then we shout, Pranas Babu, like that. So this is the meaning that Putreti. So Vyasadeva was shouting Sukadeva Goswami, oh my son, like this. He's showing his separation, the pain of separation. And then Tammaya Taya Taravo Bhinedus. So this voice he heard through the whole forest, and then Who's responding? Tree was responding. Interestingly, Sukadeva Goswami even looked back. He just keep walking and walking and walking. And then all the trees were responding on behalf of Sukadeva Goswami. So there are different explanations why tree was responding on behalf of Sukadeva Goswami. So number one reason is that Sukadeva Goswami had ability to enter heart of all the living entity. So he himself entered the heart of trees, and then if he says to his father, sorry, I don't want to come back, then it may aggravate the situation. Maybe it will make Vyasadeva more sad, upset about this separation. So instead of me answering, it's better the tree can answer on behalf of me. Don't worry, I'm leaving, I'm going away. So that I have nothing to do with the Grihastha ashram. So in this way, he didn't want to say anything to his father, but and yet he has to reply. So through the medium of tree, he replied. And another explanation of Acharya is that tree saw the situation, and then tree, they took compassion towards Vyasadeva. So saying to Vyasadeva, look, we are tree, we bear the fruit, but we don't own the fruit. So you begot Sukadeva Goswami as your son, but don't try to own your child. Look at us. So by following our example, so you should leave affection towards your son. So in this way, three actually are giving lesson to Vyasadeva. So in this way, three was responding to Vyasadeva, the Ajvava, the calling towards his son Sukadeva Goswami. So in this way, even three was actually seeing this situation. And then tam salva bhuta hridaya munim anatosmi. That Sukadeva Goswami, tam, him, who is him? Salva bhuta hridayam, one who can enter into heart of everybody. Salva Buddha Hridayam Munim Anatosmi. So I offer obeisances to him. So here, very interesting statement. We know Krishna is in our heart, and also Krishna walks into our heart, and then Krishna cleans our heart, and Krishna sitting in our heart. But here it says, Salva Buddha Hridayam Munim Anatosmi. Sukadeva Goswami also coming to heart in Sarva Bhuta. Not only devotee's heart, all the living entities' heart. So how is this possible? Sarva Bhuta Hridaya Munim Anatosmi. So this was my question. I had this question many years. So I was meditating on this question, but there is a one-day opportunity in Sangha. So in Sangha, there was a very senior ISKCON leader, Sannyasi GVC was invited. So he did a wonderful bhajan, and then after bhajan, he offered the opportunity towards question and answer session. So after bhajan, he said, anyone has any question? But audience was absolutely silent, because after bhajan, after hearing Krishna's beautiful bhajan, all people's heart are fully satisfied. So no one came forward. So I took opportunity that Maharaj, there was a verse in Bhagavatam, so that I quoted this verse. So it says here, Sukadev Goswami enters the heart of everyone. So in this way, then our Guru also enter our heart. And then Maharaj's answer was, it depends on what kind of Guru is. It depends on Guru. But when I heard that answer, somehow my heart wasn't satisfied. The reason is, as soon as I heard that, then am I judging my own Guru? Is my Guru is qualified to enter my heart? Or my Guru, does it have ability to enter my heart? In this way, after listening that answer, I was pondering. But interestingly enough, after question and answer session, when ISKCON program always end with Prasadam. And in Prasadam time, very young, one of my god sister came towards me. And then she told me, Prabhuji, I heard your question, but I heard somewhere the very similar question and answer. And the answer was a bit different. So the answer was that it's not about Guru. It is all about your heart. If your heart is open to accept the Guru's instruction, then Guru will enter your heart. Then when I heard that, my ears was open and then my heart was fully blossomed. Yes, it is not about Guru. It is all about my readiness. If I'm ready, truly receive my Guru's instruction, then Guru can enter into my heart in the form of instruction, in the form of his valuable guidance. So in this way, as Sukadeva Goswami was in the heart of Sutta Goswami, the same way my Guru Maharaj also come in my heart and will stay, so that he will give us guidance and then he will reveal the knowledge which is necessary for our spiritual advancement. And then I was so happy to hear that answer. So in this way, sometimes your burning question, you may pose to very senior devotee or very senior leader, but sometimes it may not satisfy you. But the same question, sometimes you will get answer from your own neighbor or one of your friend, who knows? So in this way, you, as long as you are ready to hear, as long as you seek the answer, then always Krishna will make a necessary arrangement for your answer and also for your spiritual advancement. Krishna will give you necessary guidance. So in this way, maybe some of you are already initiated. And also some of you may not be initiated yet. You may look for your own spiritual master. But one thing, if you don't have initiation yet, then be careful that selecting Guru is not like shopping in supermarket. So when you shop, you compare the product and then you look at the quality of product through the index. So you see the ingredients, which year it was made, and then what is the shelf life. So you compare, you analyze the product. So in this way, you may compare different guru. And also you may see different qualification of that guru, the career of the guru. This is not the way we choose guru. But what is the way, Prabhu? Relationship, guru and disciple is very, very special. When you are ready to take initiation, then Krishna will make a necessary arrangement for you to have a spiritual master. You have to be ready, and then you have to open your heart so that somehow or other you will be convinced that this person can be my spiritual master. So sometimes that person can be well-known sannyasi in ISKCON, or sometimes maybe Siksha Guru maybe. So in the form, not in the officially recognized in the community, but someone who is very close to you, that who can guide you in a suitable way for you. So in this way, Guru can be available anytime in your life according to your readiness, and also according to Krishna's arrangement. So in this way, we have to be ready, and also we have to be willing to accept Guru's instruction. So in this way, Sutta Goswami offers prayers to Sukadeva Goswami. Tam salva Buddha Hadarayam Munim Anatosmi. So I offer obeisances to my own spiritual master. So in this way, Sukadeva Goswami left immediately. So then Vyasadeva was grief-stricken. So constantly, somehow or other, I want Sukadeva Goswami, I want my son back in my ashram. So I need to at least train him that Srimad Bhagavatam. So he was thinking, so what shall I do? So then he gave a mission to his disciples. So when we go to forest, when you go to forest, so in the olden days, one of the disciple duty is collecting firewood for yagya. So when you collect the firewood for yagya, you chant these two verses. So that two verses I sent to you already. One verse is Bhagavatam 3:2-23. Another verse 10:21-5. So can anyone chant 3:2-23? So read the translation.
1 second.
3:2-23.
Opened. Bharat Patel, could you kindly read the translation? Bharat Patel, could you kindly unmute and read the translation? All right. How about Jaimin?
Jaimin.
Jaimin, yes, please.
Hare Krishna, can you hear
Hare
me?
Krishna. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sure. I'll just read it. Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he who granted the position of mother to a she-demon, Bhutana? Although she was unfaithful and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. Hare Krishna.
So this verse recited by Uddhava to Vidura. Aho bhakiyam stana kala gutam chigvam saya payayat api asatvi leve katim dhatri uchitam tadonyam kamba dayalum sharanam brajema. So kamba dayalum, who is more merciful than Lord Krishna? As Jyoti Mataji already explained earlier on in the summary. So that she tried to offer stana kalaku, stana. So her stana, breast was kalakutam, poison, but kalakutam is very deadly poison he smeared. And then he's trying to offer. So she offered jigamsaya out of envy. But Krishna took this as her nourishment, apaya. So that this act of offering, Krishna appreciated that. And then Krishna sent Putana exactly the same position as Mother Yashoda. Who can be more merciful than Krishna? Then Sukadeva Goswami heard this verse. And then all of a sudden, he was quite intrigued that, Krishna is this much merciful? And then Sukadeva Goswami's 1 ear is quite open. And then there is another verse. Another verse is 10:21, 5. So can anyone read 10:21 and 5?
Mataji, could you kindly read it?
Okay.
Mataji?
Yeah, okay. It's had blue karnikara flowers on his ear, a yellow garment as brilliant as gold, and a Vajayanti mala. Lord Shri Krishna exhibited his transcendental form as the greatest of dancers as he entered the forest of Vrindavan. Beautifying it with the marks of his footprints, he filled the holes of his flute with the nectar of his lips, and the cowherd boy sang his glories. Hare Krishna.
So it says here, Barahapitam Nathabharavapu Viprat Pasaha Kanaka Kapisham Vaijantim Chamalam Ran Venul Adara Sudaya Purayan Gopa Brindaranyam Svapada Ramanam Pravishat Gita Kriti. So Bharaha Pidam. So in Krishna's head, Bhara, the fecal feather, was decorated. And then Natavara Bhapu. So Bhapu and Bhani we talk. So we have spiritual masters Bhapu, and then Bhani means spiritual master instruction. So physical presence of Bhapu, of spiritual master, important. At the same time, Bhani also important. Bhapu and Bhani is equally important. So here, Krishna's body is Natavara Bhapu. So dancer's body. You know, dancer's body, they are very fit because they have to dance, they have to give different movements. So very fit and also very well balanced. So Krishna's body is like Natavara Bhapu. And also Karna Yoho. The Karna Yoho means both ears. Karna is 1 ear. Karna Yoho means both 2 ears. Karnikaram. So there is a special flower, Karnika flowers. It was decorated. So and then Karna Yoho Karnikaram Viprat Bhasa Kanaka. So Krishna was wearing Kanaka Bhasa. So golden color of garments Krishna was wearing, which is kapisham, yellowish. And also the flower name is Vaijanti flower. She was Krishna was wearing garland also, which is name as Vaijanti flower garland. So in this way, Krishna wearing garland, as well as Krishna's ear also decorated with flower. And also, not only that, Landram Venoho Adara. So on Krishna's lips, actually flute is touching. So this flute, it gives you Sudaya, nectarian sound is coming out. So in this way, Krishna was with cow, the voice, and then this is the beauty of Krishna. So when Sukadeva Goswami heard this verse, then he immediately meditating on Krishna's beauty. So while listening this verse, 1 ear reminding Krishna's mercy, the other ear reminding Krishna's beauty, and then he absorbed Krishna's thought, and then automatically he was following the disciples. They are singing, and then while they are singing, after collecting wood, they are coming back to the ashram. So he wants to hear more and more about Krishna's beauty. Then finally he reached Vyasadeva ashram. So in this way, he came back to Vyasadeva ashram. So Bhagavatam, in one more place, very, very interesting verse, is very hiddenly described the beauty of Krishna. So let us look at that verse. That verse is 3 to 12. So 3 to 12, it shows the beauty of Krishna very interesting way. You may not heard this before, or some may heard before, but some may hear first time, because this description is a bit hidden. Okay, anyone can read this
Jale
verse?
Mataji. Jale, could you kindly unmute yourself?
I didn't realize.
Hare Krishna. Did you say Vishaline?
Okay, you can go.
Oh,
Oh, okay. No, you carry on.
Okay, carry on. Okay. The Lord appeared in the mortal world by his internal potency, Yogamaya. He came in his eternal form, which is just suitable for his pastimes. These pastimes were wonderful for everyone, even for those proud of their own opulence, including the Lord himself in his form as the Lord of Vaikuntha. Thus, his Sri Krishna's transcendental body is the ornament of all ornaments. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Julie.
So here, it said here, Bhishma Svashacha Sobhagya Parampadam Bhushanam Bhushanangam. So Krishna is so beautiful, Bhushana Bhushana Angam. This one you may have heard already. So that in order to make ourselves beautiful, we have many Bhushana Angam. So we have many ornaments. So we have an earring, nose ring, there is a Mongol Sutra, jewelry, and also beautiful watch, and bangles, you name it. There are so many ornaments which makes us beautiful. But these beautiful ornaments become beautified by being placed on Krishna. So in this way, Bhushana Angam, this we heard before. But here, one thing is that Svashacha Sobhagya Drehe. So here, Sobhagya Ritehe. Sobhagya Ritehe. This means Svasha. Sometimes Krishna gets shocked to see his own beauty. You know, in the Greek mythology, there is a Narcissus. Yeah. So, you know, Narcissus is one of, I think, one of, is it a person, or I think Narcissus is one of a person in Greek mythology. Somehow he was walking and then he was thirsty, so he tried to drink water from the lake, and then he saw the reflection of himself, and then he was attracted to so much because he was so beautiful, so he tried to embrace that reflection of himself, so he fell into water, he died. So there is a story like that. I'm sure you know already the narcissism. So he sometimes someone too much into himself or herself, then he's like a narcissist, like that. So he's falling in narcissism. So we say like that. But here in Bhagavatam, very similar like that. So, and sometimes there is story also in the Rukmini palace. So Rukmini prepares Krishna's dhoti and then Krishna's kurta and then all things, and then Krishna wears everything. But normally Krishna doesn't look at mirror. So as a Rukmini nicely arranged everything. But somehow when he walked out, suddenly he saw the mirror, and then he himself was shocked of the beauty of Krishna's beauty. So in this way, Krishna's beauty is very much special. So it attracts even himself. So Bhagavatam here explained here. In translation, it wasn't revealed clearly, but very much hidden. It says the pastimes were wonderful for everyone, even for those proud of their own opulences, including Lord himself in his form as the Lord of Vaikuntha. So here, Krishna, he is attracted his own lila, and he owes his own form. That much Krishna is beautiful. So in this way, when Sukadeva Goswami heard these two verses, he couldn't resist himself for listening more about Krishna. So in this way, he came back to the ashram. So, and the next verse, 1, 2, 3. Yasvanubhavam akila shruti saramekam adyatma deepam atitir satam tamontam samsarinam karuna yaha purana guhyam tam vyasasunam upayami kurum muninam. So in this way, Sukadeva Goswami himself, Sva Anubhavam. Sva Anubhava means he experienced of this Krishna's beauty himself. And also not only he experienced himself Krishna's beauty, Akilla Shruti Saram Ekam. Saram means the essence, Shruti means literature. Akilla Shruti, all the Vedic literature, he experienced himself, and then he understood the essence. So when he came back to his ashram from Vyasadeva, he went through all the Shastra, not only literally studying, he deeply observed, and then through the Shastra, he experienced all the Krishna's pastime. And then Ekam, he realized that is actually, the essence is one. So we discussed that Nilguna form of Krishna and the Saguna form of Krishna. So Nilguna form of Krishna, Krishna's absolute truth aspect is actually one, but it manifests all different ways. So Krishna's opulence, for example, Krishna's power is manifested in thunderbolt. Krishna's beauty is manifested in the flower. Krishna's fame manifested in the sun. So in this way, Krishna's opulence is all manifested throughout the universe. But and yet, that source, fundamental cause is one, ekam. So from one, everything manifested. So Jamma Adi Yasha Yataha. So Sukadeva Goswami Sva Anubhavam, he experienced himself all this oneness also. Variety experienced, oneness also experienced. And then Adhyatma Deepam, he held the torchlight of this knowledge. This Adhyatma Deepam, transcendental knowledge of the torch, he held it. Why? Atiti til shatam tamontam. He had compassion to get other people also have experience so that they can cross over this darkness, tama andam, this deep darkness of material life. So he compared this one as samsarinam. So samsaris, for samsari, those who constantly stuck in samsara, it's called samsari. So one who practices yoga is called yogi. One who has knowledge is jnani. But we are neither yogi, neither jnani. So we are samsari. So for the samsari, nam karuna yaha pranaguyam. So for the compassion, due to compassion for this samsari, he churned out all the Akila Shruti, all the Shruti, and then he got essence. And then this essence actually Pranaguyam, very much hidden in the prana. But he churned and then he extracted that essence. And then he gave us freely for our spiritual advancement. And that way he said, Tam Vyasa Sunum Upayami Gurum Muninam. That Tam, him, Vyasa Sunum. Sunum means son, Vyasa Sunum. Son of Vyasa, Upayami, I offer obeisances. And then who is that son of Vyasadeva? Gurum Muninam. Muni, there are so many munis. So out of all the munis, he is guru of all the munis. Why? Because when Parishik Maharaj had a doubt, what shall I do? I have only 7 days left to live. So that Parishik Maharaj was thinking, what is the best way to spend these 7 days? Someone says, for 7 days you perform huge Mahayagya. Someone says, no. The best way to end your life, do pranayam. You practice yoga system. Or someone says, no, you do nothing. You just sit and then you be silent. So you just dhyan, just do meditation. Or someone says that you do some charity. So you got only 7 days left. So create a lot of punya. So amongst the many sadhus, munis, they had a difference of opinion. So at that moment, Sukadeva was passing by, walking into that assembly. Immediately, all the sadhus recognized Sukadeva Goswami's position, and then they asked him to give guidance on Parishik Maharaj's 7 days journey. So in this way, he was recognized as Guru Muninam, Guru of all the munis. So in this way, Sutta Goswami offering special prayers to Sukadeva Goswami. So in this way, these two verses is very much relevant to us. Number one, Yam Prabhajantam Anupeta Peta Krityam Tvipayano Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putre Titamaya Tarava Vinedus Tam Salvabhuta Hridayam Munim Anatosmi. So if you are ready, then this Sukadeva Goswami can walk into our heart also. If you are ready to accept Sukadeva Goswami's instruction. If he can enter Sutta Goswami's heart, why not to us? So in this way, we offer each time before reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, sincerely we have to pray to Sukadeva Goswami. Not only we establish Krishna in our heart by Nilmasaranam, Kritivi, Shrushruvi, this 3 process, we actually offer invitation to Sukadeva Goswami also to come to in our heart. So our heart get busier and busier. So we have a guru, we have a devotees, and also we have a special Krishna's devotee, Sukadeva Goswami. Also, we invite him to our heart. And secondly, this verse is very important for us, is that it shows that whatever Sukadeva Goswami said, he said here is Adhyatmatipam. This is a special torchlight which remove our tamondam, the dark ignorance, dark tamasa, so that the darkness has a very, very interesting nature. It can be so dark that you can't see anything. And so this darkness can be long and years can be could be accumulated. But light comes, interesting enough, no matter how long that darkness was, this light removes immediately. And so light comes, no matter how thick that darkness is, it removes. Other dirt, for example, some dirt is been maybe 10 years. It takes a long time to remove. Yes? So some dirt, it doesn't go away easily. But darkness is not like that. Darkness, no matter how thick, how long it has been, as soon as light comes, completely disappears. So that's why it's compared here, Adhyatma Deepam, transcendental torchlight. So Sukadeva Goswami holding in second verse, first verse it says he can enter into your heart. Second verse says that he is holding torchlight so that if he is in our heart maybe there is some darkness. We have some painful experience from our past, from our previous life, some pain, some agony, maybe anything. All darkness within our heart, he will drive away. So this is a very special verse. That's why we recite this verse always before reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'll end here today, so that today we discuss a very special verse, so that now we know the significance of reciting these two verses right in the beginning, so that we got I hope, a better understanding of these two verses. And then I'd like to invite Jolie Mataji, so they can finish off what you have prepared, and then I'll take some questions, and then we'll end the session.
Prabhu, I've lost it now because the computer is packed up. But
Okay, that's fine.
I can do it next week if you like.
Okay.
However, I have got a little question.
Okay, so if anybody has a question, please go ahead.
Jolie, you can start.
Oh, is that all right? Is that all right, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We touched on narcissism, and one it is connected. I think in chapter 11 in the Bhagavad Gita. I think. And when Krishna revealed his opulence there, and I wondered, and I felt that was a bit different than what the Krishna I hear about. So how does that fit with his true self and what he preaches to us?
So when Krishna says, I am this, I am that, don't put our
self against
material judgment. So that Krishna says to us all the time, be humble, don't develop ahankar. But why he says, I'm this, I'm that? So it sounds like that.
Yes.
But when Krishna says that, there is some different aspect, because when Krishna says that, there is truly revealing the absolute truth. So that Krishna reveals many aspects of absolute truth, especially 11th chapter, when Krishna reveals his universal form, that is very, very special, so that we should understand in the different way that we projecting our own achievement. So it's something different. Yeah?
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Rupa Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you for the absolutely wonderful class. Wonderful. Thank you so much. My question is, it's about the prayer that you sing every before every class. It is this, and there is a line which says, "Dasoham tava Keshava." So where is that coming from? Because I read the 1.1.1 and I tried to find out, but I couldn't find, and I love that line, Dasoham tava Keshava.
Dasoham tava Keshava is from Padma Purana.
Oh, Padma Purana, okay.
Yeah, so in Padma Purana, it says that, my dear Keshava, I'm your servant. Dasoham tava Keshava, I'm your servant. Please fulfill this desire of mine in serving you through the Srimad Bhagavatam. So there are many ways to serve Krishna by chanting holy name, by serving his devotee. But reciting Bhagavatam also one of very meaningful service. Why? Because the verse above, Srimad Bhagavata Gyoyam Prataksha Krishna Evahi. So Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna. Yes.
Lovely. So where can I find this prayer, Prabhuji? Where can I find this prayer?
I sent you the PDF file list, but I'll send you one more time. I think anyone can have this. I think someone has this PDF file of this Srimad Bhagavatam prayers. Can share it. Pranas, do you have?
I will find it, no worries.
Yeah, I think also might be Premila Mataji also may have it. So when we recited in the first lockdowns, I think I sent already.
Yes,
Okay.
I have
Yeah.
the prayer.
Maybe Mataji, would you like to share on the group so that other people can get this copy?
Prabhu, I don't know. I seem to have a hard copy. If I have it, I will share it on the group. But
Okay, yeah.
if it's saved,
Or I'll dig in. Someone shared already. Meghana Mataji shared. Yeah.
Thank you very
Meghana
much.
was
Thank you,
fast.
Meghana Mataji. Hare Krishna. That's what
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you, Meghna Mataji. Thank you, Patanjali Muni Prabhu.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I just wanted to say, Prabhu, I think this was a most wonderful class today. Instead of just, chasing through all the different verses, it's just so nice to hear and appreciate the beauty of each one of these verses. It really was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So in this way, when we recite actually verses, when we recite, when you're trying to observe the meaning of it, then it's very sweet. It gets sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. So that's why Bhagavatam says that Tadeva Ramyam Ruchiram Nabam Nabam. So once you know the meaning, then Ruchi, the taste become Nabam Nabam, newer and newer. So then if you develop this type of taste and the taste become newer and newer, then it becomes that this verse itself become Mahosava Manasa Anugiyate. It becomes turning into not just a verse, turning into Maha Ussava, turning the great festival in your own heart. So in this way, festivity outside you see, for example, Janmashtami, we see beautiful festival in Bhaktivedanta Mena. But actually that festival is there to invoke that festival rise within your own heart. So we know that whatever we see, nothing but manifestation of Krishna's opulence. The same way, whatever experience through our senses, through our experience has to manifest within own heart. So one way is that observe these verses, then it will manifest the festival. So once the festival manifests within our heart, then what happens? Shoka arnab shoshanam. So sometimes when we are wallowed in our pain and distress in our life, that pain seems like arnab, it's like an ocean. But that ocean becomes shoshanam, dried up very quickly. So that's why always manasa anugiyate, in our mind, always good to recite verses and remember these verses. So it is a good habit, try to memorize one verse a day if it's possible. If it's not, one verse a week. In this way, we need to have a small, maybe motivation to memorize a verse according to our capacity, maybe one verse even a month in this way. So then you'll have the very interesting experience within your own heart. And then suddenly, when you have an external instance, for example, if you go shopping to one supermarket, suddenly you saw one object that it reminds you of the verse you are looking at, you are trying to memorize. So in this way, you'll get fresh joy within your own daily routine life. So I'd like to encourage, so if you can observe any verses you prefer, so that try to recite, try to memorize, then it becomes all of a sudden you will develop relationship with each verses. Then that each verse itself turning into another feature of Krishna. So then truly you carry Krishna always within your own heart. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Is there
Yeah.
any easy way to memorize the verse?
So then very easy way is you have to love the verse first. So if you fall in love with someone, memorizing that person's name will be easy. So for example, if you don't have any relationship, who is that person's name? We won't remember. But suddenly we get attracted to that person. He was so nice, or she was so nice, she was beautiful, or she was so kind, etc. So then, what was her name? They immediately, as soon as they hear her name, you get stuck in your heart. So in this way, any verse which somehow touches your heart, even English translation, so that verse, you start read one word, try to understand each word, the meaning, so that you try to make a relationship with that verse, then you develop that love, and then easily you remember. There are many techniques of different pronunciation, but that comes next, later. First thing is that you have to love that verse. I like it. I love this verse. So in this way, so you will have a motivation to remember more about that verse.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna. And also another way is that sharing the verse also. So when they're group, so if we have opportunity to speak, always you share, so that I'd like to share a verse, then you recite in public. Then truly other people will get benefit, and so you solidify your memory. So this is another way. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I want to understand this statement. I'm not sure if I got it right either. About the relationship between Sutta Goswami and Sukadev Goswami. It seems to point to attachment there. Is that right? And how does it connect when his son returns? So his wishes got heard, I suppose. So what's the learning in that story?
So even Vyasadev.
Oh, I can't hear.
Vyasadev, father.
Sorry?
Sukadev Goswami's father.
Yeah.
Sukadev Goswami father Vyasadev also, although he's so much so learned with all the Vedic scriptures, actually he had a certain attachment for his own son. So in this way, the level of his spiritual status, actually he's a bit below than his son. So his son is above spiritual advancement. So that's why there is a one verse that Shukoveti, there is a verse that Shukoveti Narado Veti. So Shukadev Goswami understand Srimad Bhagavatam, and Narada Muni understands Srimad Bhagavatam. Vyasa Veti Na Veti Va. But Vyasadev may understand Srimad Bhagavatam or may not be understand Srimad Bhagavatam. This is a statement in one of the scripture. I think it's coming in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that all the realized souls that appreciate Sukadeva Goswami understand Bhagavatam. And Narada Muni understand Bhagavatam. But Vyasadeva, he himself wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam, but he may not understand, or he may understand. So in this way, Sukadeva Goswami's spiritual position is higher than Vyasadeva. So
Oh.
that's why there's one instant, I'm sure you heard already, when Vyasadeva, when Sukadeva Goswami passed one route, and then there was one lake, and the ladies was having a bath, and then they didn't hide themselves. So that when Vyasadeva passing, then all the girls quickly they hide their body. So Vyasadeva asked, so how come you when my son passed, you didn't put your try to put clothes on, but when I went, you do like that. And then the ladies Gopi saying that Sukadeva Goswami, when he looked at us, it's beyond the bodily platform. No discrimination of male and female. But for you, still, you are discriminating male and female. So we could feel it. The ladies have a sixth sense that they can feel by other people's what they call eye vision. They could feel that this person is beyond bodily concept. So they didn't need to hide anything because it's beyond the bodily platform. So in this way, Sukadeva Goswami is far higher, far higher in spiritual terms. So in this way, when Vyasadeva, although he gave teachings Bhagavatam to Sukadeva Goswami, but understanding, realization of this spiritual topic, Sukadeva Goswami is higher than Vyasadeva. So this is how it is. And also this is how we have to learn. Even if we learn, we know the words, that is not the end of it. Constantly we have to work. So that is actually Nilmasarana. Yes, Chetana Mataji.
By the way, one tiny comment
That was a
that.
mistake.
Oh,
sorry. So
I
Pranas, go ahead. Yeah.
I have a quick question, Prabhuji.
Can we have this question after Pranas' comment, please?
Yeah.
Yes, because when Patanjali Muni Prabhu was quoting that Shukadeva understands Srimad Bhagavatam, but Srila Vyasadeva offer Srimad Bhagavatam may or may not understand.
Yeah. Shiva to Parvati, okay.
Mataji, please ask your question.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Sorry, it's just it could be a silly question, Prabhuji. So Vyasadeva, as you just mentioned, he was slightly lower in terms of spiritual greatness to his son, Sukadeva Goswami. So, but if Vyasadeva is the literary incarnation of Krishna, and we use the word incarnation and we use the word Krishna, then doesn't that automatically make him superior to anybody, any other human being or mortal human being?
That's very true. But when Krishna incarnate, Narada Muni also actually Krishna's incarnation also. So in this way, they perform particular role, so that when Krishna's baby, he's afraid of Mother Yashoda. He doesn't need to afraid of anybody, but he particularly is showing that character for us to, one sense, observe the lila more. So in this way, I found that the verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita is mentioned, Madhya Lila, chapter 24, text 313. Madhya Lila 24, text 313, it says, Aham Vedmi Shko Bheti, Vyaso Bheti Na Bheti Va, Bhaktya Bhagavatam Graham, Nat Putaya Nacha Tikaya. So maybe Pranas Babu, could you share this one? Madhya Lila chapter 24, 313. So that maybe Panchali Mataji, would you like to read the translation, please?
Yes. So Lord Shiva said, I may know, Sukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasdeva, may know, and Vyasdeva may know or may not know Srimad Bhagavatam. On the whole, Srimad Bhagavatam, the spotless Purana, can be learned only through devotional service, not by material intelligence, speculative methods, or imaginary commentaries.
Yes, this is one of verse, and also there's another verse which is mentioned that there is another verse which is mentioned that Sridhara Swami, who made first commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. So that verse, I don't know where it was quoted. So I heard one verse that Shuko Veti Narada Veti, and then Vyasadev maybe no, may not, and then Sridhar Charya, he knows Srimad Bhagavatam because due to Nishimha Prasadat, because he got special mercy of Nisimadev. So there is another verse which explains that Vyasadev may know, may not. This is repeated twice in a different place. So that another person who knows Srimad Bhagavatam is Sridhar Charya, Sridhar Swami. Yeah, Pranath, you want to say something?
Just one small addition. Because it's also mentioned in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, when Krishna is saying to Satyabhama, but only Shukadev Goswami can understand because he has this love on the level of Vrishbasis.
So we are lucky that we got a statement on Srimad Bhagavatam by Sukadeva Goswami. So that this is a rare opportunity actually come in contact with the Srimad Bhagavatam itself. This is great fortune for us so that we have opportunity to discuss this wonderful discussion. Okay, maybe one last comment or...
Yes, please, Prabhuji, sorry.
Yeah.
How does one differentiate a silly question from an intellectual question, like the Mataji said? She hopes it's not a silly question. I've been carrying this a long time. I have asked this question before. What's an intellectual question? But if one is not satisfied with the reply or the answer, I don't know if it's wise to carry on. It's because it's much the same circle I associate with, whether to ask it again and again.
So no need to ask again and again. So we learn from 4 sources. So one source is from Acharya Padam Adatta. So anyone senior, you try to try to get the answer, and then Sa Brahmacharya, Padam Sa Brahmacharya, which means those colleagues. So the same question, get opinion from your own level of the people, group of people. 1 or 2 you may trust. And also, Padam Shisha Swamedaya, your own reason and logic you try to understand. But still, if it doesn't resolve, then Padam Kala Kramenacha, by steps of time. So when time gets mature, then that understanding will come. So we have to be a bit patient so that the burning question you ask already to very senior devotee, and also already to your colleagues or amongst you, and already you try to find from different textbook. Still, if it's not satisfied, then you wait for the time. Time will tell you. Yes?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so much. Yeah.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So
Hare
I'll
Krishna,
end it here.
everybody.
So thank you for your kind attention. And also again, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to share and discuss Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you all. So I'll end the session here. So I'll do closing prayers. Om Salve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Salve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Asato Ma Satkamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki